Welcome to LI on the Rise. This is all about people who are chasing their dreams, chasing success, and people who are on the rise. I'm C. Matteo.
And it is your boy, Al Shep.
And today we have the lead singer of the Burbs. It's Shawn O'Connor.
Woo!
Yay!
What is going on, dude?
How are you guys?
How you feeling today? What's going on?
Pretty good. Not too bad. Thank you for having me. This is really cool. I like the whole setup, everything you got going on.
Awesome.
It's nice.
Sweet. Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, dude. So I just got to say, if you were walking down the street and we didn't know each other and I saw you, I'd be like, this guy's in a band. Like, this guy looks like he is the guitarist or singer in a band.
Rock star.
Like, straight up. And I usually don't start off the interview like this, but, like, do you get that a lot? Like,
Yeah, actually, I was in Home Depot yesterday because my ceiling caved in. We talked about this off camera. But I'm in Home Depot, and this guy is trying to sell solar panels. So he stops me. He's like, hey, he's like, you in a band? It's like, yeah, how are you? He's like, cool. You want to buy solar panels? I said, no. Thanks.
It's a weird pitch.
Yeah.
so this whole image you got going on, was it for the music, or is it just your own personal style you had?
No, I'm just a weirdo. Yeah, I've always just done my own thing my entire life. Started with the piercings early. I just thought they were cool looking. Eventually went into the tattoos, and I couldn't stop. I have
Six sleeves, bro.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
hell
Thank
yeah.
you. I have a great artist, John Keel, East End Tattoo. But, but he's done all of my artwork except for my one leg. When I travel, I do travel tattoos, so I get them in the weirdest places.
Word.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Some strange and unsafe places, but they're my travel leg.
Awesome. So you have a singular leg for travel tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. That's crazy.
Let's get to your start in music. How did it all happen for you?
Okay. We'll skip the sad part. But when I was about 15 years old, I wanted a guitar. I just wanted to play. And I had this whole story pitched up and everything that pitched to my mom that I want a guitar. And I recited it for like weeks.
Yeah.
So I finally get the nerve. I'm like, Ma, for my birthday, I want a guitar. And as I'm trying to ramble off, she goes, okay. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah, we'll start looking for him. All right. So I started playing. And I had a back room at that point. So I've got an amp now. I got a guitar. And it's just an empty room with all like old toys. There's no heat back there. It's kind of like a cold room. And I turned this little heater on. I'd play every day and torture my entire family because it did not sound good. But every now and then my mom would come in. She's like, you're doing great. I'm like, yeah, I'm a rock star. And it was terrible. And then my friend Nick wanted to play drums. So I was like, all right, cool. So I ended up buying a drum set because I was like, I want to play drums too. And I want to play everything now. So I bought a drum set. He started playing. And then my friend John was like, oh, I could sing. I was like, okay, come sing. So he got his own PA, brought it in. And now there's the three of us jamming. My friend Steve was like, oh, man, we should do like a Cypress Hill thing or a Beastie Boys thing. He's like, I can rap. All right, so now, and these are all like my very good friends I saw on a regular basis. And we started our first band that way. Wow. And we played for probably about 4 or 5 years together and just kept growing as musicians, switching off, trading places. And that's
awesome.
how I got into it.
And I'm assuming you definitely got better at the guitar. Time goes on.
I would like
definitely.
to think so. I would like to think so.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So how did all this lead into the Burbs happening?
Fast forwarding after the first band, I ended up rolling into another band from my friend Brandon, who was actually a bartender right over here at Billy's. And he was like, oh, we have a spot as a guitarist. We need another guitarist. Do you want to start in there? So I went into that band. And from there, it just kind of was like a chain reaction of people who I've played with in the past or our bands have played together. Like, oh, well, we need this person. I kind of became like the utility guy. Like, oh, yeah, I'll go here.
That's sweet.
And I was always a guitarist or a bass player or a keyboard player. And I started doing open mics with my friend Dom. And that's kind of ties into later on. But it was a band, Whiskey Hotel, that was the first band to pick me up as a singer. They're like, oh, we used to play at your open mics. You should come sing with us. And I started singing with them. And then from there, ended up going to another band, Adiron. And then from there, my buddy Dom came back from the military. Was like, oh, we're gonna start redoing our old stuff. You should come in. And I came in, started singing, and the Burbs was born.
And
That's sweet.
how did you guys get the name the Burbs?
That I credit to Dom as well, because we live in the suburbs. So he would walk around our studio, our little practice space. He'd go, we're in the burbs, we're in the burbs. And he'd be like, all right. So we're trying to think of band names, and Dom goes, yo, it's the Burbs. And we're like, you know what?
That's it.
I'd be okay with that.
A legend was
I'd
born.
be okay, yeah. And hence the Burbs.
My eyes are corridors, uncontrolled and misunderstood. For the sake of indifference, my conscience is my only existence. And there is no escaping something, there is no faking.
No, somebody who's never listened to it.
Uh-huh.
How would you describe your music?
All over the place. Our first, I guess, demo, we called it the Westfall Sessions, was originally 2 songs that me and Dom had written 10, 12 years ago. It was an acoustic project that we had done, and he wanted to remake them, and that's how this whole project started. So they're very, like, pop, rocky, more acoustic driven, but with a full band style. And then we incorporated this guy, Henry, into the band, and we wrote the Dope Nasty EP. And that had, like, one heavier rock song, one poppy, dancey song, and then a couple just regular alternative rock songs. Mm-hmm. And we rode with that wave. We were still trying to figure ourselves out. This new EP that we're releasing on Friday is very more intricate. It's a little darker, a little deeper, and it's got more of a consistency to it. But, yeah, it's all over the place.
Would you say with this new EP coming out, you kind of found yourself a little bit more as a band? Found a direction in a sense?
Yes and no, because as much as this was so good and so tight, we're now like, oh, what else can we do? If we could write this way, we could write that way. What could we go next? When they play with their feelings almost. So they were all in like their own funk, and they're playing, they're jamming, and you could truly hear it in the music, which is cool. And so we'll see how they're feeling in the next writing session.
Awesome, yeah. It's just like one foot in front of the other, more
Yeah,
or less.
so
right?
we never know what direction we're going in.
That's sweet, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you are someone who's definitely had a lot of experience just in the music scene, being in bands, playing with all different people. What do you feel like is the most hardest part about writing music?
For me, everything. The hardest part about writing music has to be coming up with the idea. Some people it comes very natural to, but for me, it's trying to figure out what I want to write about. What do I think this song could be interpreted as? And what we do in the Burbs is they'll write a song and they'll be like, all right, well, this is how I was feeling that day. This is what made me write this. And I'll kind of compile all of their ideas and be like, all right, so what if we wrote a song? Let's say, like, I'll take Spectrum, for example. My oldest stepdaughter is autistic, and they kind of wrote this song, and it was sporadic and all over the place. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write a song about my eyes to her as an autistic child. So we called it Spectrum because autism is a spectrum disorder, and I wrote, and I just kind of instantly felt it. I wasn't able to flow with it, but coming up with the idea for a song is kind of like the hardest part for me.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
True.
That you do that. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's sweet. You got the whole song around that in the spectrum of your daughter. That's sweet, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
So now I've seen you play live, and on stage, you seem extremely comfortable, drinking beers, crushing beers more or less, and just having a great time. Yeah. And that led me to this question: have you ever even experienced stage fright?
Oh, every time.
Every single time?
Every time I said,
Could've
I
fooled
get
me.
like the butterflies, and you're like, oh, what am I gonna? I'm gonna forget a line, because there's times in practice where I know the material and I know it, and they'll start playing. I'm like, what's the first line to the song? I wrote it. Yeah. So like you just pick all these different ideas. Well, what if this person doesn't like it? Or what if I look out and no one's reacting to it? Because I like to build off a crowd. I like to have some sort of relationship with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because to me, it's more fun when people get into it. I don't want to be the show. I want to be a part of the show. I feel like when people interact, it just kind of makes it fun. Like, you don't want to pay to go to a show. You want to pay to be a part of it. And that's why people are always singing along. Like, you go see, like, Taking Back Sunday or whatever it is, and everyone's singing. So you want to feel that. But every time I go out there, I'm like, what am I going to do? What's this? Am I going to forget this line? And then you get out there, and the music starts, and everyone's playing. You look to the right. You look to the left. You see, like, your really good friends. And you just instantly get comfortable, and all that gets wiped away.
So you would say basically the people around you and the vibe is what helps you overcome your stage
Oh,
fright?
100%. Having them with me there is the most relaxing thing in the world.
Wow, that's awesome. And I know a lot of people are like hesitant to perform because they're so scared and what people think. Do you have any advice for someone like that would be hesitant to perform because of their stage fright?
Yeah, well, one good thing is when you're on stage, you have these bright lights in your face, whether you're in a bar or a venue, so you can't see anyone anyway, unless they're up close. But you should never let something you love be stopped because you're afraid someone else won't like it, because there's always going to be someone who will like it. There's going to be people who don't like it, and there's people who are going to love it, and there's going to be the people in between who are just like, it's whatever. But if you love something, do it. Don't let anything stop you. No one's going to go up to you and be like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. It's the worst decision of your life.
Yeah.
And if they do, then someone's just going to beat them up anyway.
Yeah,
no one's going to
exactly.
talk like that.
Yeah.
But no, always shoot for what you love, whether you want to or not.
Never give up on your dreams, kids.
Never.
Ever.
Dude, that was beautifully said.
Yeah, that was
Thank you.
choice.
Now, I've seen you perform a couple of times, and you could have fooled me, man. You seem very, very comfortable,
Yeah,
and you
straight
step
up.
on that stage like, I got this. and so you could have fooled me.
Cool.
But I really would label you as a great performer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And my question for you is, what do you think makes someone a great performer?
I guess someone who could entertain you. That's a really, really good question. We should have went over this before we were up here. I don't have a good line for that.
Got him.
But I guess as long as you feel like you're entertaining someone, because it's more than just your music. If you're on stage, you want to, like I said, try to get the crowd to interact with you. So whether you point at one of your friends in the crowd and you're like, hey, Joey, you're here. You want to draw the attention. You want to pull everything together and unite it. And I feel if you could accomplish that, getting everyone together, that would make you a great performer, because then you've accomplished the goal.
So
of
getting
everyone involved.
getting everyone's attention.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
Definitely good advice.
Now, off of that, because I like what you just said there, is that your opinion on what makes your performance successful? Like, what to you makes a performance successful, if it's not just that?
I think it's the fun we have.
Okay.
It's the fun that we have on stage. It's the fun that we see off stage. It's just a community of people. Like, you guys have seen me before, and like that's cool to me. Like, that's awesome. But yeah, I think I guess that would contribute to it. Yeah, just having that much fun, doing what you love, and showing that that's what you love.
Word. Right
on. Listening to your music, I feel like your vocal tone and your singing is perfect for the genre that you guys are in.
Thank you.
I feel like it's great. And for anyone listening, do you have any advice for singers that maybe want to get a little bit better? And any tips for a singer out there?
Don't smoke. God, I struggled with that for years. Years and years. We'd be at doing the open mics, and we'd have smoking breaks between me and my buddy Dom. Because when we first started the open mics, it was me and him playing to our bartender friend Tommy for months, and we'd continue to go at it every week. But we'd rotate, be like, it's my cigarette break, and I'd go stand at the door, and I'd smoke the cigarette and everything. And but no, it's just try to keep the stress off of your voice, your vocals. Don't hold stress in. What works for me personally, it is going to sound weird, is stretching. Like, whether it's stretching your leg, I do some weird neck stretches where I kind of look up like this, and I kind of do that. Yeah. And I'll be doing it at shows, and you can see people kind of look at you like, what is he doing? Why does he look like he's just stuck? But yeah, I would say stretching and trying to keep the stress off. And I know stress is like nearly impossible to keep off, but the more you could exhaust it, the better you'll be.
Do you do any vocal warm-ups?
Shots.
Literally
Beers,
warming the vocals.
But no, I try to on the way to shows, like this is gonna sound ridiculous, but before every show, I'll go to. Am I allowed to say like companies' names on here or no?
Hey, go right ahead.
All right, so I go to McDonald's, and now I don't like McDonald's, but I'll get the sweet tea, and I'll drink the sweet tea from McDonald's before almost every show.
Really?
Just because mentally it makes me feel better. Like, okay. And I must have had a good show with it at one point. I'm like, that works. Now let's stick with that.
This is sweet. I'm sweet. The show is sweet. This is great.
Yeah.
We're all sweet.
But I'll put on a song, and I'll just start singing it on the way there. I don't want to try to, like I said, stress my voice because my range is so limited. I don't have this great vocal range like most people do. I'm kind of limited to where I'm at. But yeah.
So you've been a part of the Long Island music scene for quite a while.
Too long.
Too long, right on.
I am very old.
No, don't show your age. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
no,
No, that's
no.
good.
I'm just 21, right? I'm just 21.
Dude, I'm a first
Yeah.
beer yesterday. Yeah. But, okay, being a part of the scene for a long time, I'm sure you've seen a lot of stuff, good and bad. Is there anything in specifically the Long Island music scene that you would change or improve upon?
No.
No?
To be honest with you, I kind of just like how everything goes. I think people put too much pressure on themselves. I think people try to go into like a business mode instantly with it. Like, oh, we're a band. We have to do this. We got to do that. Like, instead of, I remember growing up and having fun with it. Like I was telling you guys, we were just playing a guitar, playing the drums in my back room. And we're like, oh, let's start a band. And then next thing you know, I meet this one guy. It's like, oh, you should come and play a show. And we're like, play a show? All right, sure. And then from there, we were able to build something off of it. And I guess everyone instantly thinks, all right, we're a band, we're a business now, we got to brand it, we got to do this. And to a point, yes, you do, but you want to have fun with it. You want to make it grow. And I mean, everyone's goal is to be like up there. Yeah. You want to be famous. That's your goal in life. For most people, I guess, going into it, I should say. But yeah, I feel like they're taking all the fun out of it sometimes.
Would you say it's almost better for these Long Island musicians, speak to them and say, like, take it one day at a time, take it in stride?
That's a great way to do it.
Balls to the wall it right away because maybe you'll get more discouraged or something like that. Like, how do you feel about that? You think taking it easy for you was the right choice?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not this world successful person, but I've enjoyed it my entire life. I've been able to play shows. We just played Citi Feild 2 weeks ago, which is the most incredible thing in the world. Yeah, thank you. We did a pregame Met show. And I've also played to like hole-in-the-wall bars. And I feel like if people put too much stress on it, then it takes all the fun away. So take it one day at a time. Everything will come if you line it up right. Don't try to force things. Don't try to overthink what you have to do. Just have fun and let it go.
Awesome.
Have fun, man. It's all about fun.
It really is. It really is, yeah.
You work at the Paramount.
Yes.
I'm sure you see tons of bands play there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, working there, you can't necessarily always watch the band.
No, it's usually too busy, and you're like, you're trying to peek up.
Yeah.
But you can hear them.
Yes. Yeah, at least you can hear. What is the best band that you kind of saw while working?
Okay. I get this question asked a lot.
Yeah.
And my answer is always, I have no idea. But I guess the most interesting show I've seen was probably Korn. The production value that they put on is absolutely unreal. I was able to see that one because that's one of the shows where the headliner goes on and everyone stops.
Yeah.
Like they stop drinking and they all just stare and they look.
Yeah.
But the drum set was made of this like birch tree, so there's like branches coming off of it with stuff hanging. I mean, the vocals were on point. Everything was like, it sounds recorded, and you're like, that can't be real, and it is. And it was just probably the most top performance I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
Yo, shout out Korn, man.
Yeah.
Korn's fire.
Yeah, they are.
I want to be you so bad. That's a great.
Come fill out an application.
Can we trade jobs? But getting back to the music, you have spoke a little bit about your music, but could you go in depth on the writing process of your lyrics and how you go about it?
Okay. Well, I'm a workaholic, so I'm always working, always doing something. It's one of my biggest faults is just I'm always working. So we usually, the group of guys that I play with get together 2 times a week. And because I work so much, I'm only able to get there once a week. So they'll send me the recordings on our phone. Dom will just put his phone out and hit the record button, and I'll listen back to the car, and it's like, and you try to figure it out. And you're like, okay, I have an idea what this is going with. So I'll listen to that until the next practice, and I'll try to come up with a melody in my head. And then when I get there, I'll be like, all right, so what are you guys feeling when you play this? And they'll all speak their part, and we'll kind of agree on an idea for me to write on. And then I won't write the lyrics at the practice. We'll kind of go over our old stuff, or I'll try to come up with a melody as they're playing it. I do most of my writing while I'm driving to work, basically. I'll put the song on repeat that's recorded, and we get a better recording of it so I could hear it a little more clear. But and I'll start writing like, okay, this is the idea we're going with, and I'll try to throw lines out. Now I'm trying to like sing and drive, and you get people looking at you like, what is this guy doing? Is he talking to himself? Does he have one of those headsets where you're online like, hey, Bill, that's where I am?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll write while I'm driving, and I'll piece it all together, and I'll use the talk to text, and it'll just pick up what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And when I get a second to sit down and decompress, I'll be like, all right, well, this is cool. I think this would work for a verse, or I really like this line. It's sticking with me. Let me throw that in the chorus. And I'll take all those words I threw together, chop them up and line them up, and try to tie it all together.
Right on.
Dude, using the talk to text, like sometimes it has your back, but sometimes it doesn't, man. Sometimes it's way off.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel like
Does that get frustrating sommes? Like coming up
Very.
with good lyrics and it's changing
Did
it
I
on
really
you?
say
Yep.
the pizza was cold on Tuesday night?
exactly. What is Hirsch Muskin Dishkin?
Yeah.
Great. I'm glad that worked. Yeah.
So, speaking about your lyrics, I was listening to one of your songs, Storming the Castle.
Okay.
And there was this certain lyrics or like a certain quote from you I thought was pretty interesting.
Okay.
And the line goes like this world, a chess game at its best, so small, so simple. Could you go into depth on the meaning of those lyrics and then after just the meaning of the whole song?
Yeah. So, I guess like you look at a chess game, and it's just this board with a whole bunch of tiny little pieces. It doesn't seem like there's much to it. It's like a prehistoric game, basically. And you look at the world, and it's just like so complicated, and you just kind of try to compare it to the chess game because there's a lot of thought that goes into it. Like, I am terrible at chess, and I've played people who are good. Like, online, you do your little phone thing and everything. I remember having, like, my first smartphone. I downloaded a chess game. I wanted to play chess, and I'd get destroyed, like, embarrassed. And it's so complicated. There's so many rules to it. There's so many strategies and planning, and you always got to plan, like, 2, 3 steps, 4 steps ahead. So, and the world, you look at it, and you're like, oh, it's round. It's got green stuff and blue stuff, and it's also like a simple looking figure. It's got people, it's got places, but everything that goes on is just so complicated. There's so much to it. So I tried to make a comparison right there with it.
And would you say is that basically what the whole song is about? Just like kind of navigating through life, trying to figure it out, but like at the end of the day, it's like it is simple. Like don't think too hard. Like, is that kind of the message of the song?
Yeah, it's kind of a song just about the world in general and all the different things that are going on, and just take your life and go with it. Don't worry about anything else that's going on. This is your life. You're storming the castle. Take it on, and just do what you got to do to be happy.
This world, a chess game at its best, so small, so simple. Tiring on, fruitful, has lost its trace.
I want to say congratulations on playing Citi Feild.
Thank you.
Insane,
I definitely want to get into this, man. First off, how did you guys get the opportunity, and what was your experience like?
Okay, long story short, this is actually the second time I've been able to do it.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah, the first time I did it was about 2 years ago. I was in another band, and I got an email from this guy, Joe, and he's telling me like, oh, you should come play Citi Field. My girlfriend found you on this website and blah, blah, blah. She worked for Stony Brook Radio, I believe. It was something like that. And I go, this isn't real. This is like a spam email. But something inside of me said, the reply, what's the worst that could happen? They try to sell you solar panels? So,
oh, man.
I responded.
Just to set that up.
So I responded, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. Well, let's talk about this. And he calls us, and I happen to be at band practice, and I pitched the idea to the guys. They're like, oh, that can't be real. It's got to be a scam, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm doing it. So we ended up parting ways, and ooh, excuse me, that was the burp. That smells bad. Sorry. So
only the mic
it's got the meatloaf in it right there. But so I go and I meet up with this guy Joe, and he's giving me the whole spiel. I'm at Citi Field. He's giving me a tour, and I'm like, this is cool. It's an empty stadium, and we're walking down to the suites. We're on the field. We're in the dugout, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it, but I gonna have to do it acoustically. And I'm thinking like, who else could I bring in? So my friend DJ, I talked to him. He's in a band, Hold Fast Hope. I said, would you guys want to do this show? And they ended up hopping on, and they kept me on as like the opener for it. So they played, I opened up, and we got to play the first time. And this guy calls me, I guess it was about a month or two before the show. He said, hey, we're looking to do the pregame show at Citi Field again. Would you be interested? I said, yes, I'm in. So I talked to the guys, and they're like, duh, we're in. So we got to do the same thing. We went to Citi Field. He gave us the tour. We walked around. We're in the dugout. Henry picks up the phone in the boat, like the dugout, and it calls the bullpen. You could hear it ringing in the background, and it was just an overall unbelievable experience. And I wish everyone could do it.
Dude, what was it like just performing and looking at all these people? Like were you nervous at all?
You play in the rotunda, and they record it. So you're really only playing to 80, 100 people that are right there, and then everyone on the lines can hear you, but they're not really looking at you, and they record you. And then right before the first inning, they play it up on the Jumbotron.
Oh, sweet.
That's the scary part, going, oh, man, I sound like that.
Yeah.
And like, now these 38,000 people are listening to me up there, and your heart's going like this, and you're trying to look at everyone's reactions.
Oh, you're at the game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We ended up buying a suite, and we sat there, and we're just watching ourselves, and I go, oh, man, don't miss a note. Don't do this. Like, did I do this right? And yeah. So the performing part was actually like a normal performance. You're playing 80. I mean, it's still a good amount of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're not looking up and like there's all these rows.
Yeah.
That I feel like I would have.
Was it the most people you've played for?
No, I've done a couple music festivals, like 2,000-person festivals and everything. Doesn't mean that they were all in front of it, but I've looked at crowds that you're like, oh, I should not be here. Like, why am I here? Why did I do this?
Yeah. There's the stage fright.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking like, oh, man, there's a lot of people that's going to hear me mess up today. And you question that next Bud Light, and you're like, oh, do I?
Send it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, there goes the stage fright. I was a bartender over at the Emporium. I was at McKay's for a little while. I kind of bounced around. But, yeah, my main spots are Revolution. I've been there since it was Ollie's Point, going back 10 years.
Wow, yeah, I remember.
And then, Paramount, I've been there about 4 years now.
Well, with that being said, I formed a little game for us.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and this is how it's going to go down. So I researched the most popular beers in America.
Okay.
Top 5.
Top 5.
And before I reveal it, I'm going to have you make your list on what you think is the most popular beer.
So number 1, I got Budweiser. Number 2, I got Bud Light. Number 3, I got Miller Lite. 4, I went Stella. And then 5, I went Blue Moon.
Okay, so the order's completely off, but you did.
A couple hits.
There was only 2 that didn't make it on the list, but the rest of them were on the list.
Okay, so there we go.
A for effort. So here's the official list according to Google.
Official.
Number 1, Bud Light.
Ah, I switched it, didn't I? I did.
Number 2, Coors Light.
Ah, and I was gonna put that instead of Miller
Who
Lite.
actually likes drinking that, by the way? Come on now.
I used to.
All right,
And then I
all right.
started getting like the headaches from it. I'm like, I gotta switch.
Number 3, Budweiser.
Okay.
Number 4, Miller Lite.
Oh, so I got that in there. All right.
And number 5, Corona Extra.
Ah, see, I should have put Corona. Why didn't I do? I put Blue Moon instead of Corona.
You know, I'm surprised PBR isn't in there too. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
This is America.
Yeah, I know.
That's an American beer.
It is. Good old Paps.
Make
We
you fight
used
your
to
cousin.
have, we used to call it shitty beer. Am I allowed to say shitty?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. We used
You,
to
you can
have
fucking curse.
shitty beer night, and we'd go pick up like Stroh's, Milwaukee's Best. Yeah.
Rolling Rocks.
Like literally, we would call it shitty beer night. We'd go to Stop and Shop or whatever and get Stroh's, Milwaukee's Best, PBR. What else? There was like 2 other ones we'd
It's a
buy.
stomach ache waiting to happen.
Yep. And a Schaefer. There you go. Schaefer was one of them.
Wow, that's old school.
Yeah. And we just drink them for whatever reason.
You're young, man.
Yeah.
Who cares to send it
Yeah,
down?
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Led to a lot of interesting nights.
I'm sure it did. A couple fist fights as well, probably. Nah, I'm just messing. That's mostly my friends.
Drink this, Miss Alice, is what I am told. Double time to the river with a rabbit hole. Fight past the brothers to the Queen's Heart of Gold.
I have my own t-shirt company called Island Apparel. I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, very nice.
But yeah, I started because I just wanted to make my own merchandise. And I was like, oh, you know what? I talked to my friend George, who does my graphic design, because whatever the equivalent is to stick figures in regular drawing, that's
Yeah.
how I am in the computer world for graphic design.
All right, right.
Yeah, I'm lucky if I could get
Paint.
You're
doing paint.
yeah,
Like-
yeah, exactly, yeah. So, and he was like, oh, let's do it. So we came up with our own designs, and it started taking off like, oh, you know what? You're making T-shirts? What if you want to do it for my band or you want to do it for my business? And I'm like, yeah. So it's like a word of mouth kind of thing. We don't do much promotion for it, and I have orders usually a couple times a month. So it's not a big company. It's just the 2 of us. But yeah, if you ever need merchandise made, find me online.
And the name of it is?
Island Apparel, and it's EYELAND. Apparel is APPAREL.
I hope so.
Can I get it in a sentence?
Where can people follow you and your band on your journey?
Okay. So you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Google Play Music, and I'm sure I'm forgetting more. I think we have a Pandora channel.
Awesome.
There's probably something there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little hard to find us. Like when I tag ourselves on Facebook, I have to do the @ symbol and then an underscore Burbs, because there's apparently another band, the Burbs, that's in the UK, and sometimes they get a little confused.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was fun trying to figure that out.
So basically, everything though is the Burbs.
The Burbs,
Okay,
yep.
cool.
Instagram is the Burbs Music. So it's anything the Burbs or the Burbs Music. You'll
Alright,
find
cool.
it. It's a house with a heart in it. That's our logo. Wherever you see that, that's where we are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Dude, this has been a blast, man.
Yeah, this has been fun. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming
Yeah,
out,
thanks a
dude.
lot.
I feel like
Thanks
we
a
learned a
lot,
lot
man.
about Shawn O'Connor and the Burbs.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great time, man.
Thank you for watching this episode of LI on the Rise.
Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button.
And comment who you would like to see next.